We have a bit of a problem in Lost Ark. Hello friends, it's Goobs here. I keep seeing people running around in my matchmaking and just in the open world, and I think there's a bit of a misunderstanding of what people should prioritize for either engravings and stats. So let's discuss how you can properly gear your characters. So anytime you get to a fresh tier of content, you're going to get most of your gear from the corresponding chaos dungeons. The first level of these chaos dungeons drop blue armor pieces and accessories, right? The blue armor is fine to take as soon as possible because this is going to give you the item level that you're going to need to progress. For your first couple of runs in this fresh tier, it's okay to take whichever blue accessories drop because the primary stats they give, such as like agility, intellect, strength, and whatnot, those are going to provide a bigger damage increase than whatever you're currently wearing. But what should you do after you've run your full clear of chaos dungeons and you have a full set of new accessories for the new content? For starters, you should specifically be looking at the bonus effects that each accessory provides. Aside from maybe a few edge cases, most classes are going to want some combination of crit, specialization, or swiftness. Domination and expertise are fairly useless in PvE content, but endurance can have some uses as it increases your survivability. You should be prioritizing these bonus stats that benefit your class first and foremost when evaluating the accessories you can use. Again, if you're running a Chaos Dungeon or Guardian raid for the first time in a fresh tier, you'll just want to equip whichever accessories you get initially because the primary stat gains. Afterwards, start filtering your accessories by the bonus stats that they provide. If your class is something that wants specialization and crit, for example, and you get something with swiftness or domination, you can probably skip it. Again, it kind of just depends on those edge cases, but for the most part, you don't want anything with expertise and you don't want anything with domination. If a piece has the desired stats, then you should start looking at the engraving effect. There are a lot of engravings that kind of play off of your bonus stats. So if you have the engraving itself, but not the bonus stat, you're not really doing yourself a lot of favors. One example of this is Keen Blunt Weapon. If you have a lot of crit, your crit damage just gets amplified. But if you don't have a lot of crit, you're not getting those crits to actually amplify. And instead, there's just a chance to deal negative 20% damage. It's just a net loss if you don't have the bonus stat to amplify this engraving. As another example, let's look at my class engraving, the Gun Lancer. I play the Lone Knight build, and this amplifies my crit damage by 30%, 40%, or 50%. If I'm not getting crits with my attacks, this engraving, just kind of becomes useless. And that brings me to my second point of discussion, and that's to please stop equipping level 1 versions of engravings that have downside effects. I'm referring to things like Grudge in this case. The 20% incoming damage is static from all levels. You're not really getting any benefit. You're only it's only negative until you get this to level 3 where the 20% damage increase actually outweighs the 20% damage taken effect. Some other examples of this would be like Cursed Doll, where you're actually getting a small healing or a small attack power buff for a decent healing reduction. So it's not really that worth it until you get this to higher levels where the actual attack power you're gaining outweighs the healing reduction that you're applying to yourself. Another example is Precise Dagger. You're applying a negative 12% crit damage buff, and you're not really getting that much crit rate out of the level 1 version. You want to get this to crit rate level 3, so you get the 20% crit rate. That's actually going to increase the frequency at which you crit, so you're getting more from your crits because you're critting more frequently, and the crit damage is reduced by a static 12. So the positive effect at this point outweighs the negative effect. So in summary, you should be trying to prioritize the bonus stats on your accessories before the engravings they have. Now, this isn't always the case. There are always some exceptions to this rule, but for the most part, a lot of the engravings that classes want play off of specific stats that you should be going for. If you don't have those stats, those engravings don't really have the full potential. Now, once you've acquired some gold, you can even consider just going to like the auction house and filtering by the exact gear pieces that you want with the stats, the engraving effects, and stuff like that. But this can be pretty pricey. Anyhow, that was my little public service announcement. Please stop using level 1 grudge. It's really not helping you. It's actually hurting you. And please start looking more into the actual stats that benefit your class, because they'll really start synergizing with the engravings that you're using, and it'll make your play experience a lot better, I promise. But this was Goobs saying thanks for watching, and I hope you all have a great day.